Hi guys, and welcome to Truth with Hannah. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Truth with Hannah. I hope you had an amazing week. My week was pretty average. I had a few more downs this week actually, but I live, I learn, and I survived, so that was great. There's banging noises, I'm sorry, that's the builders and my fan noise, so I apologize for those things. Hopefully in the future we won't have these problems, but yeah, we are about to get very vulnerable, guys. We're about to get very open, very transparent, very truthful, and everything in between. I'm going to do my relationship series. My relationships wasn't really something I wanted to talk about till I was married with kids actually, but God had other plans and he's made it very apparent that he wants me to talk about it. And if I can help one person, if I can prevent one person from walking in my footsteps, if I can, you know, make one person feel seen, then all of this is worth it to me. So I really hope you guys stick along, and yeah, that's that. But we're starting off strong, and this is going to be It's Okay to Let Go. That being because I had a relationship that I found very, very hard to let go of. And yeah, so we're gonna rewind a little bit. I feel like every foundation I had, like in like people or situations, they were just letting me down. Those years were not really great years for me, and so I felt like everything was letting me down, and I was like, the only thing I know that's been proven not to let people down is Jesus. So I'm like, I'm gonna try this thing and I'm gonna do it properly. And so, you know, that was going great. And then I had this relationship which I was very much dedicated to, and I was very much invested in, like, not only like were my feelings invested, but I was just also like, if I like let go of this now, not only have I wasted my time, but like I'm going to have to rethink my whole future, because I had already thought out and planned out this whole future, knowing that, well, thinking would have been this kid. And so I like knowing what's going on in my life, and that was just something I wasn't willing to let go of. The relationship in itself wasn't even great, but I didn't even mind. Like, I was like, you just have to learn. You just have to learn to get along. You just have to learn to communicate. And so I was proper, like, and I proper fought for this relationship as well. Like, you know, if something would happen, but I would just be like, you know, it's whatever. And I was proper fighting for this relationship. Then after like a very rough patch actually, like the rough patch being that I didn't want to like kiss anymore, because that was one of my convictions, and I was just like, it's not something I want to do. They, at the time, they didn't understand, because I don't know why they didn't understand, but they just didn't understand that it wasn't something they agreed with. And that's also why I encourage you to like find someone who, even if like a certain boundary is not another like partner's conviction, just for the fact it's your boundary, I feel like they should respect that, and I feel like that's something you shouldn't budge on. But obviously, me being me, I budged all the time, and that just kept happening until one day I was like, no, like, I'm not doing this. And so I was just like, yeah, I won't do this. And so I'd like give them hugs, and I would like, we'll still hold hands and trash. But there was, I'd say, one situation, like, we weren't even kissing or something, but like I think we hugged or something, and for whatever reason, like, the tension was just so off. And I don't mean like negative tension, well, you could say it's negative if you like, but it wasn't like a negative, like, the tension was so off. And at that moment I realized that just like not kissing or not being intimate with somebody is not the only thing that like triggers your emotions or feelings. You cannot be, you know, pursuing like purity and everything, and then getting right up close to the line. And actually, I'll give you a line from a dream I had actually, and a guy told me, he was like, if I don't like a sickness, I won't want the symptoms. Meaning that if you don't want to fall in the sin of like sexual impurity or like fornication, etc., etc., there's no reason you should like the symptoms of you're just kissing, you're just holding hands, you're just giving each other hugs, etc, etc. And I feel like it's different for everybody, but for those of us who know we don't have enough self-control, like, I don't know how to, what do you call it, oh, what's that word, I don't know how to justify it. That's it. I don't know how to justify why we'd go and like be giving people hugs or like be kissing people. Like, I just generally can't justify it. And so I think even after all this though, like, I wasn't willing to let this thing go. I was like, okay, whatever, I won't kiss him, I won't hug him, we won't hold hands, whatever, but I need this kid. Like, this kid for me, he was a firm and a sure thing that, like, my future was secure. Basically, like, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna marry him, etc, etc. I know him already. I know who he is. He's just familiar, let's say. Like, I don't have to grow up and think like, oh, you know, how would he react to this situation? Like, I had a very good sense of how he is, and so to me it was just such a sure thing. And I was like, I also like fulfill something I've always known, like me being 5 years old to however old I was then, like, it's always been this person. And as I was building my relationship with God, he made it very apparent. It's like what's his name, Abraham. That was the story that was always with me, that Abraham had something valuable, which was his son, and God told him, that's what I want the thing you hold closest to your heart. And like, that story came to me like so many times, and I was just like, okay, when Abraham was come to sacrifice Isaac, God was like, no, Abraham, take Isaac back. So I was like, okay, let me give God this relationship, and God would be like, you know what, Hannah, I know you're willing. I know you're willing to give it to me, but you can have it. And that was my mindset. I went into it with this sacrificing, and I'm gonna get it back. And then the more I looked at this Abraham story, I realized when Abraham was sacrificing Isaac, he didn't think, or in his mind, God wasn't coming to give Isaac back to him. He sacrificed Isaac because God asked him to. He didn't sacrifice Isaac for a reward. He didn't sacrifice Isaac because he knows God is merciful, and he knows God is gracious, and he knows God will give him his heart's desires. No, he sacrificed it out of a place of, I give it to you, God. And so after a while, I was like, you know what, God, take him. And I let go of it. It was, to say it wasn't easy, guys, it was not easy. I put it off, but I feel like I myself hated it more than they probably even hated it. I don't even know. Like, I was like, every single day I was praying, like, God, if you're gonna take this, at least tell me who you want me to be with. Like God, this is crazy. And so I was able to let that relationship go. And I think after a while, God took me back to see this relationship, and he was like, I didn't take this thing away from you to hurt you. I didn't take this relationship from you just so you can be alone. I took this relationship away from you because it wasn't from me, and it's not benefiting you yourself. Like, you weren't the happiest person you can be in that relationship. It wasn't the best situation you could be in, and we weren't even supposed to be in it in the first place, guys. Like, it wasn't like our parents knew. It wasn't like everybody was happy for us. No, it was something that was even undercover. But that's one thing I actually generally adore about God, is that even in our sin, he like loves us and he cares for us. That being sin, he was still walking me through it. He wasn't just like, you know, you're not allowed a relationship, like, quit it. He actually took me through steps, not only to disconnect from them physically, but disconnect from them emotionally. And that was just, it was a hard thing for me. But what I would say is, God's plan is always better than ours. we can only see our present moment. We can only guess the future, but we're only sure of our present moment. And so 5 years from now, I have no idea what would have happened. Even like from that relationship to now, I can see that whatever that was it's not gonna work. Funny enough, actually, I actually had a dream, and in the dream, me and the person, we were courting, so we were like made official, etc, etc. And I was being beaten up, and we went to a ice cream shop, and the ice cream owner was like, oh my goodness, you guys are such a cute couple, you guys look so cute together, etc, etc. And in my head, or I said out loud, one of them, I was like, if I go and sit in that car, the way I'm gonna be beaten, like nobody even understands. And so after that scene ended, the narrator in my dream was like, this is what's gonna happen if you decide to pursue this. It's not because this guy is a bad person. This guy is not a bad person. It's because this is not your person. This is just not what has been ordained for you. And so I am protecting you from this, from something you cannot see. And after that dream, I was like, you know what, God, sure. That dream itself just made me really realize how much we do not see our tomorrow. If we can't see our tomorrow, we definitely can't see our 5 years from now. But if every no is a protection from something, every no means you're going to get something that's exactly what you need. And so that's why I learned from letting go of that relationship. And you know, even if I never get married, which God willing I most certainly will, like, I know that God's purpose, God's plan is always better than mine. When you let go of something, there's an even bigger blessing. For Abraham to leave his house, to leave his homeland, to leave everything he ever knew, to move to a direction God was calling him, just because God called him, he was blessed. The father of faith, he will have a numerous amount of descendants. Like, if we can just let go of something that we feel like is familiar, we let go of our comfort zone, like, God is willing to lift us up so much more. If we even look at Joseph was taken from his house. Joseph was taken away from everything he ever knew, but God needed to lift him up. God needed him in that exact vulnerable position in order to lift him up among princes. And so that's just something we have to learn to do. We have to learn to let go of our comfort zone. And I think even in that, something that you have to do is have, I say this in every video, but you have to have such a strong mindset. Your mind has to be convinced first. Your mind has to be convinced that I'm doing this for a better cause. If not, you're never gonna do it. Like me, for example, I was like, okay, I won't ever kiss him, and I ended up like, I'll kiss him again. But the day I actually made up my mind, if I make it today, I can make it the whole other days. And the day you make up your mind, it's even, you kind of have to lie to yourself. You have to lie to them, like, oh no, I don't have feelings for you anymore. And you do. But if you can actually consistently like think like that, you can consistently do these things. Like, faith has works. When in faith, you're like, okay, I'm going to detach myself from person. You have to work towards it. You have to actively separate yourself. You can't just be like, oh yeah, like, God's grace, I'll be able to leave this person, and then you're going to, like, what, meet up at their house? Like, as the Bible says, our faith has worked. So we have to take the active, conscious, intentional steps to be able to do these sort of things. And that's what I would leave you guys with, that, you know, letting go is not always a bad thing. You're not always going to be giving it back. Sometimes you're going to be giving it back, sometimes you won't. But when you let go fully. Like, when you surrender all. When you come to God, like, do not hide anything. Be fully transparent. If you really like the person, like, tell God you really like the person. If you really, like, you've already planned the future and you find it hard to let go, generally tell God that I've planned the future and I find it hard to let go. But what God will even do is he keeps encouraging us. He keeps, you know, he's a gentle father. Like he won't just snatch it from you. He will encourage you, like, take small steps to let it go. As I said, Abraham, he didn't just wake up one morning and Abraham was tied on the altar and God told him to, like, strike him. No, he told Abraham, I need you to sacrifice your son. He let Abraham pack all the things for the sacrifice. He let Abraham make the journey to the sacrifice till they got to the altar. Everything is a gradual step. Everything is a process. Nobody is expecting anybody to be able to do anything in one day. No, everything takes time. But what you have to do is you have to make up your mind. You have to have a strong mindset, knowing this is what I'm aiming for. And if you can do that, you can let go. The last thing I'll say is that what's meant for you is always the best. If something wasn't meant for you, that wasn't the best you can get. When you wait for something that is for you, that's your specific person. And as we know, Adam and Eve, his rib, like, every person has their exact person they're supposed to be with. I think it can change over time. Like, obviously during, you know, you can make decisions, you can change your mindset, etc, etc, but in every season there's somebody who will be your perfect compatible partner. So I don't think you have to worry about, oh, but if this person's not my, like, then I will never be compatible with anyone. No, like, there's different seasons, and there's, like, you really do not know what's going to happen in 5 years. You really do not know what's going to happen in 10 years. So really, really, really trust that God sees the bigger picture, and be willing to let go of everything. Be willing to sacrifice everything you know, everything you thought you knew, and be just willing to put it in the hands of God, because he sees your today, he's your tomorrow, your 10 years time. He really, 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 really sees you, even to the extent that it says in Job that he guided my conception. Like, he knows exactly who you are, exactly your purpose, exactly your future partner, everything. He really knows it about you. So trust that God sees your bigger picture, and be willing to let go. Be willing to make the steps to let go, and that's what I'll leave you guys with. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys stick around as well, and God bless you. Love you guys. Bye.